Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video I'm going to be working on my first project using the Celebrate Today kit from Feed Your Craft. This kit was just released today, and if you have not seen my unboxing video, I will link that up at the top of the video for you so you can see all the components that come in this kit, as well as the stories that I intend to tell using this kit. So this particular story that I am telling today is all about Aaron and I's 7th anniversary, which we just celebrated back in September. For our 7th anniversary this year, Aaron and I brewed our very first beer together, and I was inspired by these little clinking beer glasses here that are part of the stamp set to tell this story. Now, what I decided to do, because when you get the physical kit for these particular kits, you also get the digitals as well. I wanted to take this digitally and turn it into a cut file, and so that is what I have done. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill this with sequins and just make it a fun little shaker pocket piece that will go inside of my album and alongside all of the other components that I will use here. But before we get into actually assembling everything, first, let me take you over to the computer and I will show you how I created this cut file in Silhouette. Actually, I used Photoshop and Silhouette. So let's head over there, and then once I show you this portion, we will come back here and go ahead and get to work on this spread. All right, friends, so before we get into putting the spread together for today, the first thing I want to do is take you over here into Photoshop and my Silhouette program to show you how I'm creating the cut file for the little beer glass insert. So the first thing that I did here was I went ahead and I opened up the beer mugs, or Cheers mugs, I guess is what they are called, PNG from the digital stamp set. Then I went and grabbed my eraser tool from the left-hand sidebar, and then I just went in and erased everything except for one of those glasses. So I'm just going to get rid of everything around it. Then I want to take this image here and I am going to open up a new canvas, and this one I know I want to make it about 4 inches wide by 6 inches tall, I think is what I went for. Whoops, not pixels. Let's do that again. So let's get a new one here. We're going inches. We want 4 inches wide by 6 inches tall, 300 pixels per inch. Now we should be good. Okay, so there we go. Now from here, I'm going to go back to this image over here. I'm just going to copy it, Control C, and paste. Now you can see that this image is really quite small. So what I want to do is transform it. So Control T, let's go here, Control T, and that's going to let me go ahead and angle this so it's a lot straighter. Actually, I want it to be a little bit more. And then when we clear it up, it is now an upright little cup here. So now again, we're going to transform this, and now I want to bring it all the way edge to edge here. On this canvas, we're going to hit enter, let it come into focus. It's still quite fuzzy, but that'll be perfectly fine. And then I want to save this as a PNG. So I'm just going to save it as beer glass PNG, which I actually have, I guess that's a PSD. So I believe I have this as a PNG in here, right here. So there's my beer glass PNG right there, done. So once we have it cropped and saved inside of Photoshop, the next thing we are going to do is go to Silhouette. From here, I want to go ahead and open up that exact same file. So we're going to get the beer glass PNG and open it. Then I can go to my trace tool, which is this little butterfly tool over here, select trace area, and then we're going to draw a box around the beer glass. Once we have it the way we want it, we're going to hit the trace button. Then I can select the background and delete that out. And now I have my cut file here. Now, since the one I'm using, I'm going to have it just as a piece in the middle, just kind of for fun. Since it's going to be like that, I want to go ahead and cut out 2 of these, one to be the front side and one to be the back side. So I'm going to select the cut file. I want to copy it, Control C, paste it, Control V, and then we can move it onto the page. With it still selected, I want to go up to the Object menu, go down to Mirror, and we are going to flip vertically. Nope, we're not going to flip vertically. We're going to flip horizontally. I always get those confused. There we go. So now when I cut these out, I will have one for the back side and one for the front side. So I'll just position them where I want them to go, and then we will go ahead over to the send button to send it to Silhouette to cut this out. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cut out, and then I will meet you back over at the craft table to actually put these guys together and assemble the rest of the page as well. Now that we're back at my craft table, I'm going to go ahead and start getting this page assembled by working on the main 6x8 pages first. So on the left side, I'm going to put in a journaling card that I had typed my text on for my journaling, which I do have a video for that if you're ever looking for how to do that in Photoshop. I have an example of how to do it in Photoshop and how to do it in Microsoft Word as well. And then I've also got a picture of Aaron and me holding up like a little baggie of hops. Below those, I'm going to put these 6 2x2 pictures. So these are pictures that give a glimpse into the process of brewing beer at home. So the first one, I show a picture of our kit supplies when we got those in the mail. The next one shows us adding one of the hops packets to our brew mix. Then I've got Aaron who is putting the beer through our wort chiller, so that helps to cool it down so that you can put it into a fermenter. The next picture was putting it into the fermenter. All of that we did on the first night, so our actual anniversary night. And then the one next to it shows our filled fermenter sitting next to bottles. So I took that on the night that we bottled our beer, and then it has to sit for another 2 weeks and carbonate inside of the bottles. And then I have a picture, the last one, of the first one that we opened with glasses that we tried it in. So the actual brewing process here did take us about a full month to complete, but most of it we did on our actual anniversary. I also have pictures of me and Aaron there. You can see us, me with the empty fermenter bottle and Aaron with the filled one. I decided to print those off to put in the middle of this page. This is a journaling card that I altered in Photoshop just to make it a 6x8 instead of a 4x6. And then I added a couple of ephemera pieces there. One says delightful moments. The other one says happy anniversary, which was one of the reasons that I chose to tell this story in the first place, is to use up that little happy anniversary ephemera piece there. And then there's also the little clinking beer bottles that was an ephemera piece and extra special flag. So that one I'm going to stick into the 6x8 page protector. This is going to be the main portion of my spread here, and then we're going to move on to work on this little extra piece that I wanted to put in just to add some fun, and because of course, you know, we're a big craft beer loving family here. So as soon as I saw this beer mug, I knew that I wanted to blow it up and turn it into a cut file, and then I decided to make that cut file into a shaker pocket. So the first thing that I did was apply glue to the entire image here, the whole cut file. And then I went ahead and glued that down onto some clear acetate. Those are printable sheets that I get. They are called graphics, and I just get mine on Amazon. These ones are 8.5 by 11 inches, and they're kind of thin. I know that Graphics sells a thicker acetate paper, but I think it's a 12 by 12 version, and one that I've been wanting to purchase and try out because I like the idea of having thicker acetate pieces as well. But the thin ones work great for making pockets like this. So I have those both adhered down onto the plastic. I did keep this inside piece here just to use as a template for where to place all of the bits and pieces onto the acetate page. So I'm just going to add my glue, and then I will add those pieces into the slots. Once those are all adhered down, then I can peel up the negative piece and just toss that away. I don't really need it anymore. But this is going to make assembling this cut file that much easier. there are these 3 little circles, and as I pull up this one, you're going to see that one of the circles comes with it, and I don't even notice until much, much later, and then I have to go find it. So, whoops. So just, I guess, make sure to pay attention to that when you are peeling these things up. So there you can see that there's only 2 dots when there should have been 3. So it happens, whatever. So I'm going to do the same thing to this other side, and then we'll skip over that to where we have that all completed. So now that I have both sections done, next what I want to do is adhere them back to back. So I stuck those back to back, and I don't know why I took that off. Oh, you know what? I didn't do that yet. That's why. So I decided to grab my sewing machine out and to go ahead and stitch down all of those pieces in the middle. So all of those little dots and all of the lines on the cup as well. Then, and here's where I'm like, whoops, I took that footage out and I probably shouldn't have. Then what I did is I placed the cup back to back, added some washi tape so that it wouldn't slide around, and I just stitched around the outside cup loop portion of the beer shaker. So there's a stitch that goes all the way around the U shape and not anything at the top. That way I can open this up and pour those sequins down inside of the cup. It's also kind of nice using the acetate because when I went to stitch the front and the back pieces together, I could know that they were perfectly lined up because you can see through the plastic. So I knew that as long as I had it stitched right on the front, that it was going to be fine on the back as well. Here I'm just kind of sticking I stuck my scissors with the protective cover on it down inside to help me spread those sequins out a little bit. They do want to pile into the middle, and that's okay. I will stitch it down and then later we'll shake this all up and make sure that the pieces get all over. So now I'm going to stick my washi tape back down and then bring my sewing machine over, and this time I'm going to stitch across the top so it closes off the bottom portion where those gold sequins are. I chose gold because that's kind of, a traditional color for a lot of beers, so that made the most sense to me. Then I also stitched around a portion of the top part as well, of where the foam comes out of the cup. So I stitched around a little bit of it, leaving just a tiny hole where I can pour in some extra sequins into the top. I did go ahead and cut off the bottom portion just because I don't need that anymore, but I still need to keep the top there so that I can stitch this closed once I get the white sequins down in there. So these sequins are just itty bitty tiny, what do I want to say, like iridescent? Is that the right word? It's not holographic, so maybe it's iridescent. Maybe they are holographic. I don't know. It's one of those words. White sequins. So they have like a shimmer, and they sometimes give off like a pinkish hue or a bluish hue. It just depends. But I love that they are super tiny because then I knew that I could fit a whole bunch of them into this top portion, and it allowed me to sew the hole at the top a little bit smaller. So if you are using bigger sequins, when you go to stitch that top portion, just keep in mind that you'll need to give yourself a little bit extra room so you can put the sequin down inside of that slot. So I'm just going to try my best to get all of these and put them down in. These were so hard to grab. I know I've seen people who use like a sequin picker tool. I don't even know what to call it, but I definitely need to find out what that is and get one because it would make things like this so much easier than having to try and grab a bunch of them and they spill all over the place. Oh well, it happens. Once I get all those sequins down in there, again, I'm going to grab over, this time my tweezers, and I'm going to use the bottom portion that's not very pokey just to help me push those sequins around in there because at least for this top portion, once I get this stitch down, those sequins are not really going to move around a whole lot. They will shake up a little bit, but they're just not going to be super loose since this pocket does not have any depth to it. It's just 2 pieces of plastic sewed back to back. So we're going to close off that top portion there. And then once I do that, we can go ahead and trim the rest of the acetate pieces off the outside of it. The only thing that I don't have stitched at this point is the handle. And the reason for that is because I actually don't want there to be acetate inside of the handle. So I'm going to trim off the outside here using my fussy cutting scissors. I use Cutter Bee precision scissors. They're the only ones I've ever used, but I do love them, so I definitely recommend them. if you're looking for scissors to help you cut pieces like this that are really precise. Then what I'm going to do is I will pull to the side the two sides of the handle and cut the plastic out of the middle. It does take a little bit of finagling, but it is doable. So we're going to cut that piece out, and then I'll bring my sewing machine back over and we will stitch the handles together. That way they are extra sturdy. And the reason I did this is because now that there's a hole in the handle, I can actually just stick the handle right on top of the rings in my binder. So I don't need to create any kind of attachment. The handle is the attachment. So it works out perfectly. So now I am done with my sewing machine. And the shaker pocket here is done, which it turned out so cute. I just absolutely love it. So I will grab over my book here so we can get everything inside of the book and make sure it works really well. I will end up putting this pocket down on the bottom 3 rings of the binder. And then that will do it for this spread. All right, friends, that finishes this spread for today. And I think this one came together really fun. I love seeing the progression of how we brewed the beer. This little shaker cup here is the cutest thing ever. And then I love having, the written story about why we chose to do this, what we chose to name it, and all of the details from our 7th anniversary. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this process video, got some ideas for how to alter some of those digital stamps. And if you did enjoy the video, I would love a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you're there so you don't miss any of my future crafty videos. I will be back again on when this is going to be Sunday, I believe that this comes out. So I should be back again tomorrow with a December daily process video for you guys, doing a foundation page for my album this year. Can't wait to see you then. Until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye now.